What's up, everybody? Welcome back to River Ave Radio. My name is Kyle.
My name is Ryan. We're excited about today. This is the long-awaited Blue Jays 2026. I keep wanting to say 2025, 2026 preview episode. Kyle, how are we feeling today? How you feeling about this?
I'm feeling good. Blue Jays are a great team. I think we both agree, despite our hatred of them. They got
Yep.
juice. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about what we need to be worried about, what we think the Blue Jays fans should be worried about, and just overall how we're feeling about them going to the year. Before that, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on whatever platform you're viewing this on. If you're on YouTube, drop a sub. Go follow us on Twitter. I'm at KD underscore RAR, and he is RJP underscore RAR. We post some good stuff over there. You'll get notified about whatever episodes we're doing on any platform from our main Twitter account. And we're also really funny and truly, truly hilarious people. So it's just a great idea. You should do it. Anyway, let's get into it. The Blue Jays obviously kind of whooped us last year. Can't lie. I won't. I won't say that it doesn't keep me up at night because it does. It was bad. It was really bad. So bad. But I think that
Regular
the
and
Yankees,
postseason. Like
yeah,
it was
it
both.
was it was a it was a full like it was a full year of being cucked over and over again. But this year hopefully will be different. It's a pretty different Blue Jays team though going into this year. Obviously, like the main pieces are still there. They still got Vlad. They still got George Springer. But new frontline starter that they signed in free agency. Bunch of depth pieces on offense and in the rotation. Some new people in the bullpen. So I think let's just jump right into it.
So I think just getting started, one thing that really surprised me about the Blue Jays lineup was the amount of bat speed in the offense. The As the Yankees approach his pitch recognition, the Blue Jays is clearly bat speed. If you're looking at obviously Vlad has great bat speed. Dalton Varsho, Jesus Sanchez is another underrated bat speed demon. He has a 93rd percentile bat speed. We'll talk more about him later, but just wanted to make that note starting off. So I think the first, probably most notable Blue Jays offseason addition was Kazuma Okamoto. Kyle, do you want to talk more about him?
Yeah, so I really liked Okamoto for the Yankees originally. He's coming over from Japan. He's a great hitter over there. He has plus power and plus contact, especially it's been said he has plus contact against high velocity. When Murataga Murakami was coming over, there was a lot of talk about how he just can't hit velocity and it's going to be a problem coming to MLB. And this was kind of the opposite for Okamoto. He was one of the few guys over there that had good numbers coming over against high velocity. What little high velocity does happen in the NPB relative to Major League Baseball. But so far in spring training, he's looking pretty good. His defense specifically has been looking very good, which was probably the biggest question in his game coming over. But so far, pretty much every aspect of his game looks pretty impressive. Obviously, it's spring training, like these numbers don't really mean anything, but if he looked terrible, it probably wouldn't be a great sign for the rest of the season. He's hit a couple home runs, I think. He's making hard contact as well. His max exit velo in Japan was around like 112 miles per hour, which shows that he has good power, nothing crazy, but solid plus power. And if this trend of the Blue Jays being able to increase people's bat speed continues, he really could take another step and become kind of a plus plus power guy, which would obviously be a problem. He could play third base and first base, which is why I liked him for the Yankees. I saw him as kind of a piece where he would play third base when Ryan McMahon wasn't playing. He'd play first base when Ben Rice was either catching, DHing, or getting a rest day. But either way, probably going to be a problem on the Blue Jays. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, like you said, he's making a lot of hard contact in spring training so far, which is the big concern for a lot of uh, hitters coming over from Japan. His average exit velocity is 88.3 miles per hour right now, which is not incredible, but
It's
it's
not
not
great.
it's not terrible. Again,
Small sample.
small sample. He's barreling the ball really well, and yeah, the defense looks especially really good off the bat, and this is going to be a nice piece for the middle of the Blue Jays order, especially if he's able to continue hitting high velocity and hitting at high velocity. This to me, this was one of the scarier Blue Jays additions of the offseason. I'm really I was not happy to find out that they had signed him. I don't know how
Yeah.
you feel, but
It seems like it's gonna be. I think he'll just be solid. Like I don't think he's gonna be like a world-changing
mm-hmm.
addition, but I think he'll just be a good piece that I would have liked the Yankees to have, and I would have liked the Blue Jays not to have him.
Yeah, I
Moving on,
agree.
we got Vladdy. Obviously, like he's great, but we gotta talk about him real quick, just because there is like some interesting stuff around Vlad. He really like obviously in the playoffs he just crushed home runs. It seemed like every at bat. But since 2021, he really hasn't been able to consistently put the ball in the seats. In 13 games against the Yankees in the regular season, he only hit 2 home runs, which was pretty shocking to me. That being said, he still had a 373 average with a 1.0 OPS.
Yeah,
He was even better than that in the playoffs, but obviously Blue Jays fans will be happy if Vladdy puts up a 1.0 OPS against basically their biggest rival right now.
mm-hmm.
He crushes fastballs, which is obvious. Like we saw him crush a Will Warren fastball in the playoffs. It was really bad. He's good, but not as good against off-speed pitches. And I think that Vladdy just kind of needs to figure out how to consistently lift the ball in the air. Like he obviously always hits the ball hard. It doesn't matter if it's directly into the ground or into the seats. But he's still very young. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he's capable of having another 2021 like MVP caliber offensive season again. And I'm just hoping that it doesn't come this year cuz I think it's going to come eventually.
his his problem really is that he's never been able to. His launch angle sweet spot has always been not great. Like his 2021 profile and his 2025 batting profile are not that different from a batted ball standpoint. He's just gotten a lot better at making contact. His whiff rates have gone down. His chase rates have gone down. His walk rates have gone up. He's just gained better control of the strike zone, and he's gotten stronger. He's gotten, as you said, he's still young. He's getting older. He's adjusting to the league as he grows, and he's setting himself up for a career year. I mean, he's so clutch. He's going nuts in the baseball classic, dude, and it's really making me nervous. I'm not enjoying watching him destroy pitches for the DR, who is totally gonna win. I don't know. Like,
USA. Sorry, Italy. Italy.
no, we're good. We're in.
No, I know, but
Oh,
the shout out Italy for beating us and then getting us in.
quick, like the way that a lot of these U.S. guys are treating it makes me not want to root for them.
No,
Like,
we can't get into this. We can't get
we
into
can't.
this.
Okay, fine. Another time.
Next up,
Um,
George Springer. Obviously, last year was kind of crazy. He was literally the best offensive season of his career, including the years where he was literally cheating. He just kind of learned how to pull fly balls in the air at age like 36 or whatever, which isn't ideal. He went from like I think it was 22nd percentile in launch angle sweet spot, meaning like he's hitting it hard and he's hitting it in the air. He was in the 90 like 7th percentile last year versus the 22nd percentile in both 2017 and 2019. And he's still cranking the ball. Like his bat speed actually has gone up as he's gotten older, which just is bullshit.
that's crazy.
Like maybe he's roiding. He's on steroids, bro. Wouldn't be the first time this fucking bum has cheated.
Major
But
revelations on River Ave Radio.
semi jokes aside, like I don't know, maybe he is cheating. I'm not gonna 100% say he's not cheating. No, don't sue me. He's old and he has an injury history, but last year was legit. It wasn't like we'll get into some guys that were fake as hell last year. Ernie Clement, but
I don't want
this
to talk
guy's
about Ernie
legit.
Clement too much because here's the thing. Like, I was totally on that train, right? But people have just gone like and taken it and ran with it. Like they act like and like he absolutely terrorized us in the postseason, but there were other like Ernie Clement was not the reason we lost.
Sure,
Like
sure.
him hitting a bunch of singles was annoying, but Vlad hitting a billion home runs was
No, yeah, that's true.
slightly more annoying.
but Springer will be basically a full-time DH this season, so maybe that'll keep him healthier. But
Yeah.
I'm like, you should be worried about Springer going to the year, but he's not like the main guy I'm worried about. Like obviously it's gonna be kind of ladder bust for this Blue Jays team, I
Hmm.
think.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I will say, like, there are a lot of these guys, and I guess segueing into Addison Barger, like a lot of these guys kind of are underrated, really good, sneaky good players. Like Addison Barger, he can't really hit lefties, but he just absolutely destroys righties. He has a really crazy cannon for an arm, but he kind of runs bad routes. Makes an interesting defensive profile. Again, elite bat speed. His problem really is hitting lefties. So if he figures that out, he's going to be a problem. But he barrels the ball 11.4% of the time. That's 70th percentile, 91st percentile hard hit rates, 93rd percentile bat speed, and 63rd percentile launch angle sweet spot. So like his batted ball profile, nothing is, or he's a solid hitter is the point.
Yeah, he's just a
And
solid platoon
he
bat.
has some power, some pop. There's some pop in this Jays lineup, which is something that I was reluctant to admit in the past. But obviously, you like I don't know. They're not the Brewers, like they hit the ball hard, and it's not. It's scarier than people think. I think.
Yeah, they got and Barger. Like I'm not sure if he's ever gonna be able to hit lefties. Like some guys just can't. Obviously, he hasn't had a lot of time to develop. I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but if Addison Barger is just the player he is right now, he's still a productive player. Like he is. Obviously, the routes are awful, but his arm's so good that it kind of doesn't matter as much. Like he'll get to the ball late, but as long as he's not letting something drop for a hit that otherwise would be an out, it kind of doesn't matter because he can throw the ball so hard that people aren't going to run on him anyway. But I think that I'm not
99th
worried about Barger
percentile
next
arm
year. He
strength.
did have some good moments against the Yankees, if I recall, but I don't know. He's just a solid piece, as we're going to say for a couple different guys in this lineup.
Yeah. I think moving on, a lot of there's a lot of. I feel like this lineup, this whole team. I don't know what happened. Like 2024, they were so bad. Like they were bottom of the barrel AL East. They were not good. They completely turned it around, and Alejandro Kirk. This is kind of segueing into that. Is a major gear in that machine. He's really good. He aside from Patrick Bailey, which is just he is in another stratosphere defensively. Alejandro Kirk is the best defensive catcher in baseball, and that really is valuable. A lot of people like to laugh about defense or whatever, but Alejandro Kirk being as good at blocking as he is, he's 100th percentile blocking, 98th percentile framing. That creates a lot of runs for the Blue Jays offense and saves a lot of runs as well. He has offensive juice. If you look at his batted ball profile, I mean he's short, big guy. I'm sure he's got a lot of power in there. 91st percentile hard hit rates, 75th percentile average exit velocity, 91st percentile squared up rates. So he's hitting the ball well, and it's certainly possible for him to become an all-around elite hitter. But as of right now, he has solid control of the strike zone. He has power, and he's more than a solid piece at the center of that Blue Jays lineup. He's a really, really good elite defensive catcher.
Yeah, I mean, he's just funny looking, which I think
Yeah.
people like people don't respect him because he's like
Uh-huh.
short and fat, and like he is both short and fat. He's 5'8", 250, and I don't think he's 5'8". I think he's closer to 5'7" or 5'6".
Dude.
But
100th percentile fielding run value, first percentile base running value.
yeah, like people remember like he grounded into a double play to end the
Yeah.
World Series. Like he's short and he's fat, but he's good at baseball, and like that I think that's part of why baseball is so awesome is that you can have a guy that's like 3 inches shorter than me and 100 pounds heavier than me, being 100,000 times the baseball player I could ever be. he's if you told me like without any context, like if I didn't know anything about the Blue Jays team or who Alejandro Kirk was, if you told me that the second best defensive catcher in baseball has basically the second best offensive profile in baseball behind Cal Raleigh, I'd be like, wow, like this guy's like an MVP candidate. And I'm not saying Alejandro Kirk's gonna be MVP frontrunner or MVP top five next year, but he's a lot better than people give him credit for, even with
Yeah.
how awful his base running is.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you're putting the ball over the fence. Your base running doesn't matter. Like he's got enough power, and he isn't you know stretch a single into a double type of hitter, but he's gonna hit the ball at the wall and
Yeah.
get the double with no problem. So
He actually doesn't have a ton of home runs. Like I feel like he does have home run power in the tank more than has shown in games so far.
yeah,
He's kind of had a lot of variance year to year. Like 2024 he wasn't great. In like 2021, 2022 he was good, then 2023 he wasn't great. Like it will be interesting to see if he can maintain this kind of great season that he had in 2025 into 2026. A lot of 20s coming off my tongue right now. But I don't know. I think it'd be foolish to expect him to be bad next year. Even in his worst seasons, he's still been productive. So I think
yeah.
that he's just gonna be like, if I had to rank like the people on the lineup who are like most important to this team's success, it'd obviously be Vladdy number one. But then I think between Springer and Kirk, I might honestly put Kirk at number two for how important he is to this team. Like
I
so
definitely
good
would.
defensively and getting any offense out of your catcher, let alone excellent offense out of your catcher, is pretty awesome.
Also, Springer being good at this point is a nice. It's like Stanton being good. You know, it's a nice surprise, and at this point, you're just kind of playing him with house money. And if he's good in his age 37, 38 season, then he's good. But Alejandro Kirk, like you said, getting this much offensive value out of your catcher is just so important and makes a huge difference. And really is just like you said, that's it's a really good point that you made a few minutes ago. Actually, like if you told me that it was the second best defensive catcher and probably the second best offensive catcher, I'd be like, this is one of the best players in the league. And so if you look at it like that, yeah, I think Alejandro Kirk is probably the second most important piece to this Blue Jays offense and definitely one of the most important pieces to this Blue Jays team overall.
Another
And
guy who was kind of seen as defense first but had a little bit of offensive juice last year was Dalton Varsho. I don't think either of us really buy it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm speaking for you. Like he does pull the
I
ball in the
buy it.
air. Really? Like I'm not even
Dude,
buying it a
I
little
mean,
bit.
listen, if you barrel the ball, you have fast bat speed, and you pull the ball at 30, he pulls the ball in the air 30% of the time. Like anyone who does that is going to overperform
I'm
their
just not
expected
buying that he
metrics.
can actually do that over the course of a full season. Like I understand
He
that profile is legit, but
he's done it every year pretty much. Look at his spine. It
that's
was
that's
20,
wrong.
29.5 last year, 29. I'm
You're
looking
smoking dick.
Dalton Varsho
All of
pull
his
air percent.
numbers went up by a ton last year. He was 12th percentile in 2024 in launch angle sweet spot.
Dude, I'm looking at his pull air rate right now.
Oh, okay.
20. Yeah.
But it doesn't like just because he can pull it in the air doesn't mean that he can hit it hard and pull it in the air. Like I
Okay,
understand like
that's fair.
it's
But he doesn't really like he's not. Yeah, I guess he doesn't really hit it that hard. Like his exit velo isn't crazy. It's 89.9. Hard hit rate's 40.3. But like I said, like he's barreling. So and his launch angle sweet spot isn't bad. Like it's 36.9.
last year was good, but I'm saying
Yeah,
that I don't buy that that'll stay like that
that's
over the
fair.
course of an extended sample. Like how many? Yeah, he had less than like 300 plate appearances
I mean,
last year. Like
it's not like it's hovered around like 50% basically his whole career. Like it's not.
his numbers are just like really awful for he's been this is was like year 6 in the show. Like I can't believe that he's suddenly figured it out at age like 29. But maybe he has. Like he was one of the worst hitters of all time last year. Like there's not sorry,
Last
2
year,
years ago.
I was
2
gonna say.
years ago. There's
But the
no
year
way.
before, like the 2 years before that, he was. I don't know. I guess,
No, he was shit.
yeah. 2022, he was pretty good.
I think that it was a small sample last year. If he's
Yeah.
really good, like I would be surprised, but I'm not gonna say it's impossible. But I don't know. Sorry, Dalton Varsho to talk shit here, but I just can't believe like watching him play. Like I do not see somebody that impresses me. But that bat speed went up. I don't how do they keep doing this? Like how
I
do
don't
they
know.
just get like going from a 73 mile per hour bat speed average to 75 is like pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can just do that, and they're doing it for everybody.
I wonder.
Whatever, man.
I remember I heard Volpe talk about it, like bat speed increases. Like he said that like the way that your stance is really important to it, and it
Mm,
just like makes it easier. You kind of don't have to focus. Like you're not like forcing yourself to swing harder. You're just like naturally swinging harder because of the stance. So that might be something worth
that's
looking into.
interesting. But yeah, like
But
last year, his slugging went up like 150 points from his career average. Like
yeah,
I can't, and his on base percentage is still below 300 even last year. Like I'm not buying that. Like a 300 point difference between his slugging and on base, I can't believe that's possible.
yeah.
Like he strikes out a ton. I think he's gonna strike out more next year. Like he's gonna be a good defender. Like I'm not gonna argue with that. Even though his arm is like I could probably throw the ball harder than Dalton Varsho. Goddamn, noodle arm, hit the
See,
gym, buddy.
here's the thing about Dalton Varsho. Like every time you talk about him, you want to be like, okay, well, I'm talking about the Blue Jays 6 hitter or whatever. Fangraphs has him listed as the 2 hitter.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Fangraphs is the roster resource. Some of the placements are weird.
I feel like Okamoto might be like leading off sometimes.
They
They don't
have
have
him.
Bichette
They have him
anymore.
seventh. So
I'm not. No.
yeah,
Next up on our list here is Jesus Sanchez, who they just traded for. I think Jesus Sanchez got juice. Like obviously already coming in with the bat speed, so the Blue Jays don't really need to increase it too much. But I
yeah,
mean, they could get him from like 93rd percentile to top of the league, I guess maybe. But he used to be good, and last year when he came over to Houston, especially with like the Crawford boxes, I thought he'd be just dumping home runs into them. Didn't really work out, maybe because of injury, maybe because he just isn't that guy anymore. But it's kind of just a depth piece. Like I don't think the Blue Jays are relying on him to be an elite level bat,
yeah.
but I would be pretty surprised if he had below a 700 OPS with them. And I don't know what his defense looks like. Do you have his Savant page up here?
Yeah, it was good last year. His arm strength was 80th percentile, about 89 miles per hour on the average throw. His range was sub-average, but again, with guys that have kind of cannons for arms, it's not as bad, but still, you'd like to see that go up. And the Blue
Yeah.
Jays are an incredible defensive team, so I have to assume that has something to do with their defensive coaching, and
Yeah,
that would
he's just gonna be a
likely
good
go up.
player. Like
He
his
is, yeah,
offense will be above average. His defense will either be average or above average. I don't love that they have him. Like I think that he's only 28. He definitely still has some juice in the tank, I think.
yeah.
I'm kind of going backwards on this. Like I kind of just said like Dalton Varsho, like what more could they get out of him? But at least Jesus Sanchez has been good at some points in his career previously.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they got a
I mean,
lot
but
of
it's
depth
not
in
like
the
Dalton
lineup.
Varsho has been. I don't know. Whatever. Not. I don't want to. I don't want to
Yeah.
go back on that.
Fuck
But
Dalton Varsho. Sorry. I'm sure you're a nice guy, Dalton.
just to kind of wrap this up, the obvious BABIP shitters that the Blue Jays have that have kind of defined their reputation unfairly. Ernie Clement and Andres Jimenez. Jimenez is just straight up not a good hitter. I'm not particularly well versed in his defense.
He's a good defender. He's an
Yeah,
excellent
I thought so.
defender.
Yeah, that was what I thought. That's why they got him. Clement's playoff run was again fake. I don't want to talk about that too much. I feel like people obsess about that, but it still was terrible and annoying. But it is important to note, it's not just entirely fake. Like, yeah, he hits the ball off the end of the bat every time, but he hits line drives every time. So he could be, an average bat across the regular season last year. A high on base guy, high average guy, just someone who's kind of annoying at the bottom or middle to bottom of the Blue Jays order. But yeah, Jimenez is just straight up a black hole in that lineup. And
Do you know what his? I don't know if you're looking at his page, but do you know what his OPS was last year? Don't look if you don't have it up.
680.
He had a 598 OPS last year, dude.
Dude, that's
Brother,
insane.
this guy stinks. Nah, but they did actually they traded for him after like a couple like no, they weren't even that good. Like they traded for him after a relatively good offensive season. Like I guess if you have an above 600 OPS, it's relatively good. Like he hit a couple home runs that were meaningful, I guess. So he's not like total trash. He's a great defender. Is he? I think yeah, he's gonna be playing shortstop this year, right?
They're
I
stuck
mean,
with him for a while, right?
Hmm?
They're stuck with him for a while. Like he's got a long
Yeah, he's a
contract.
contract.
I'm looking it up on
Because
Sports right
they
now.
got him from the Guardians, who gave
Yeah,
him a stupid contract, and then they took it on for some unknown reason.
he has a club option in 2030. Dude,
Okay,
they're
yeah,
paying.
so that's not getting picked up, but he's stuck. They're stuck with him until for the next like 4 years. That's crazy. He's gonna get DFA'd at some point, I would assume.
Dude, the average salary is $15 million.
Yeah, this is like Ryan McMahon on
No
steroids. Like,
way. That's
yeah, this was one of the
crazy.
worst trades in history.
That's a
But
terrible contract. Oh my god.
they'll get more value out of him playing him at shortstop. Like obviously they were kind of just like babying Bo Bichette by
Hmm.
letting Bo play shortstop even though he's terrible out there.
Yeah.
So at least they'll get the shortstop defensive value instead of the second base defensive value out of him this year. But I don't know. Ernie Clement, like you said, he's fake, but he's not as fake as everyone. Like we've gone too far into the he's fake range,
Yeah.
and people don't respect him at all. You should respect Ernie Clement a little bit. Like he has defensive versatility. His expected batting average during the playoffs was still like in the 350s, I think.
Hmm.
Just because he was hitting, his BABIP was really high. It wasn't that he was getting lucky. He was just hitting the ball hard and he was hitting it over the infield. He's not going to do that over the course of 162 games, but he's still a valuable baseball player just from the defensive versatility alone. Last on our list here of the weird ones, we have Anthony Santander, another terrible Blue Jays contract. It's looking like. I don't want to say there's nothing left for Santander, but he's looking pretty cooked.
For this year, he's cooked, right? Like, is he playing this year?
I don't think he's out for the whole year. Wow, go look at Santander's Savant from
N-
last year.
no, dude, it's terrible.
I don't know exactly what his injury
He
was.
also was not. I mean, like, it's not like he was that good with the Orioles. I don't know.
Damn, he tore his labrum. He's out for 6 months. Yeah, he might
Yeah.
not be back.
Oh my
That's
god,
tough.
dude. A 265 ex Woba. That's crazy.
Yeah, these are Andres Jimenez numbers.
But then, like, again, if you look at 2024, like, it was only a 327. Like, he was barreling the ball, I guess. But like, his profile isn't like anything crazy. And
Yeah, I don't know why they gave him
I don't
that
know why they gave
contract.
him that. Yeah, I don't know why they gave him that contract
Pure
either.
jinx. I
Great
think we can
minds.
move on now. Like I think we've established like the Blue Jays lineup has some juice. It has some
Yeah.
weird ones, but overall they're pretty good.
It's got power. It's got more power than people are willing to give it credit for. And
They're not the Brewers, like you said.
no, yeah, and you should take them seriously as home run hitters, especially considering that Vladdy is probably going to get better. Kirk probably is going to get better. Springer, you don't know what's going to happen there. And Kazuma Okamoto's is going to give a boost to that lineup. Barger's still going to be good. I think they've figured something out with Dalton Varsho. Maybe they haven't. Even if you haven't, that's a guy who's going to be hitting at the bottom of the lineup, and at the end of the day, whose bottom of the order hitters are really elite, anyways. So, moving on to the starting rotation, which is headlined by Mr. Kevin Gossman, and Kevin Gossman had a very, very good year this year, especially when you look at some of his past couple years. He had an elite fastball splitter combo. It was the fastball splitter sequence. His fastball. Okay, so a couple things that are important to note about Kevin Gossman before we go into this. His mechanics are nearly the same across every single one of his pitches. If you look at his extension across his four-seam fastball, his splitter, his slider, and his sinker, 6.6 feet, 6.7 feet, 6.6 feet, 6.5 feet. His horizontal release, vertical release, average attack angles, they're all pretty much the same across all of his pitches. So it's very hard for hitters to figure out as he's throwing it which pitch is coming, because some pitchers have a tell. Their windup is different for different pitches, but certain pitchers have, like Kevin Gausman, have mechanics like this where you're doing the same windup literally to a T every single time, and that leads to the nasty fastball splitter sequence that Kevin Gausman was really successful with this year. So Kevin Gausman was able to generate 26.4% of a chase rate on his fastball because the splitter was coming up right after it. Hitters didn't know what was coming out of Kevin Gausman's hand, and that allowed Kevin Gausman to throw it out of the zone and get chase. So while the fastball was getting kind of rocked and didn't generate a lot of whiffs, had a 16.9% whiff rate and a 413 xwOBA, the splitter, which he was not throwing in the zone at all, was a 32.4% zone rate, was getting a 37.7% chase rate and a 38.6% whiff rate. So 38% basically chase and whiff rates and a 324 xwOBA. So that splitter was kind of supplementing all of the bad parts of Kevin Gausman's fastball, and he was able to rely on that a lot. And the slider was really not good. It kind of graded out averagely along stuff models, but it graded out terribly. It was a 43 grade slider, and it had a 503 xwOBA, but it did get a lot of whiffs, again, because of that splitter. So the thing to take from Kevin Gausman's 2025 season, it's not impossible to get to him at all. The slider absolutely got rocked. The fastball got rocked as well. It's more about recognizing when that splitter is coming, because it does break in a different way than his fastball and his slider. It's not like it's riding along the same thing until the end. Like, the splitter obviously broke a lot lower and kind of went more on the arm side, while the fastball stayed more towards the middle and higher up in the zone. And with modern technology, it's not easy, but it's easier than it was to kind of figure out a pitcher and train against a pitcher's mechanics and what pitches look like, and be able to identify that kind of thing. So that was a little bit of a Kevin Gausman ramble there. But Kyle, do you have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, Gausman's 35, so he's getting up there in age. He doesn't really rely on his fastball velo or anything like that. His velo is basically just about league average. His run values for everything was just kind of absurd last year. Like, I would not have assumed Kevin Gausman would be in the 96th percentile of pitching run value last year. I genuinely don't believe he'll be this good again. Like, I'd be very surprised if he repeats how effective he was this season.
I think the league is going to adjust.
He also was bad in 2024, and he was
Were there injury
worse,
concerns, though? I remember seeing that maybe there was some elbow stuff going on.
He threw a full 180 innings
in
2024, so I don't think there was much injury stuff. His splitter has just always been his weapon, and I'm not convinced. I think that I'm not saying he's gonna be bad, but I'd be surprised if he had an ERA below a 4. But also I'd be surprised if it was above like a 4 or 5. I think he's just gonna sit in around like the low 4s next year. Like, remember that start against the Yankees where he just walked everybody?
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the approach to it. Like, just make him throw pitches and attack the fastball, or either attack the fastball early in the count or just wait him out. Like, do one or the other. Don't be sitting in the middle.
Well, no, that's the thing. They can't do one or the other, because that's what they did and this is what makes me really mad about the ALDS. They were, and I give them credit, like, they did exactly that, right? They were sitting the splitter and attacking the fastball, or at least they were trying to. But then that just led to them swinging at every single first pitch, and they were swinging at the splitter every single time. So maybe be a little less aggressive in your approach to Kevin Gausman's splitter, if anyone is listening to this.
It's like, approach is just fake. Like, it's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
Either the pitcher's approach is going to be, we're going to throw fastballs early, or it's going to be, we're going to throw splitters early. Like, it's the same with Savage, who we'll get into later. Like, you just got to pick one. Like, if it didn't work in the ALDS, obviously, and I think they should have adjusted faster. Like, clearly it wasn't working.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to adjust faster. He got through, whatever. I don't want to revisit that, but continue.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Gosman basically is a two-pitch pitcher at this point. He throws the slider less than 10% of the time. And more than half the time, a fastball that isn't very good is coming at you. So just be ready for that. And I think as he gets older, it's not like his fastball is getting any better these days.
Mm-hmm.
So I think his fastball will continue to get kind of worse and worse as he gets older, unless he really like breaks into finding another pitch like a sinker or something. But I don't know. I think the real guy to worry about next year is going to be Dylan Cease, who they just signed to an enormous contract.
Yeah, he got. I mean, it really wasn't that much higher than what he was projected to get, but it feels like a lot. Toronto signed him to a 7-year, $200 million or 210, I'm sorry, $1 million contract in the offseason. So $30 million a year for Dylan Cease. Casuals will tell you what I'm about to tell you next. He had a 4.55 ERA in 2025, and people who like to look at things a little differently will tell you what I'm about to tell you next. His strikeout per 9 innings was the best in baseball. He had 11.52 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's insane. He also had the third worst walks per 9. He walked 3.8 batters per 9 innings. So he, according to the Fangraphs Location Plus model, he had trouble locating his fastball pitches, his fastball and his sinker specifically. He was very good, very efficient at locating his off-speed pitches like his changeup. He has always had home run trouble. He has kind of always had a low ground ball rate and a high home run per 9. Last year it was 1.13, so that's again basically one to two home runs per 9 innings that he's giving up. Home run per fly ball ratio is a little tricky. It's not really predictive year over year, but it is important when you're looking kind of at a pitcher overall, and something that if I've noticed, the Blue Jays have definitely noticed, is that Dylan Cease has always had low ground ball rates, and a high home run per fly ball rate. And so the way to cut that down is to increase your ground ball rate. So I'm sure that that's going to be what the Blue Jays, that and the command are going to be what the Blue Jays are attacking in trying to improve Dylan Cease, because he does have the makings of a frontline bona fide ace, but he also does not. And there are some things to work through. And he has the potential to be a real problem, but this is the type of pitchers that the Yankees can get to. Like pitchers that are wild and give up home runs. Those are the two things that the Yankees are really good at. They control the strike zone and they hit the shit out of the ball. So it could work out in our favor, or the Blue Jays could fix everything about Dylan Cease's home run problems and his command, and he could just be terrible for the next 7 years, or terrible for us for the next 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier said than done to just say,
Right.
just increase your ground ball rate. Like, that's just not really the kind of pitcher he is. I think he's always going to be giving up more than average fly balls. Whether or not they leave the yard or not, I think is more within his control. He's always like kind of tried to throw a changeup. Like he throws it like literally like 1 to 2% of the time over the last couple of years. Whenever he tries to introduce it, it like doesn't really work. In 2021 was the last time he threw more than like 5% changeups. But if the Blue Jays could develop like just one more off-speed pitch for him to use to keep people off of the fastball slider combo he throws 90% of the time, that'd be pretty great for him. Like technically he threw 6 different pitches last year, but his curveball, his sinker, his sweeper, and his changeup combined for less than 20% of his overall offerings. So people could really sit on the fastball and the slider. Like obviously the slider was still effective, but his fastball was out of the zone, and it was out of the zone out of the hand. Like it wasn't missing by a little bit, it was missing by a lot. So if they saw the fastball coming, they would just sit on it. It would either in the zone and they could crush it, or it would be out of the zone and they would never even think about swinging at it.
Yeah.
So obviously if you're giving $210 million to a pitcher, you got to believe in him. This is like Max Fried money that we're talking about here, and Max Fried came off a lot better seasons than Dylan Cease did results-wise.
Max Fried was like one of the best pitchers of the 2020s.
Yeah. And I mean, Dylan Cease has been like runner-up Cy Young. Like he has juice in the tank. And another thing that's interesting to me is just that the Blue Jays would not have given him so much money if they were the only team that believed in him like this. If they were the only team that thought, oh wow, like Dylan Cease can be a number one starter, ace level pitcher, they would not have given him $210 million. Like clearly there were other teams bidding highly on this guy. So if there's a consensus around the league, which clearly there is just by looking at his contract, that Dylan Cease has juice in the tank, I think that they'll probably be able to figure something out. Or even if they don't figure it out, like Dylan Cease obviously wants to be better than he was in 2025. Like he clearly was very frustrated. If you look at any of the interviews where the Padres reporters are like, "What's happening, man?" After he goes like 4 innings with 4 earned runs, he's like, "I don't know, like trying all these different things, it's just not really working." So I think Dylan Cease will never really beat the walk problem. Like he's always going to be a high walk rate guy, but we saw with Blake Snell in 2023, like you can be a high walk rate guy and win a Cy Young award if you just strike
Hmm.
everybody out when they get on base from a walk. So I
Which
think
is what
Dylan
he does.
Cease more likely than not will be a very good pitcher next year, but I'm hoping he won't be an elite pitcher.
Yeah, and I feel like there's also a high probability for stinkers, kind of. Like I said, he's, and especially if they're unable to cut down on the home run problem or the walks, like that is totally just someone that the Yankees could get to. I know he took them 5 or so innings into a no hitter last year, but then Belly broke it up with a home run. So that's
And
what
they
really
won that
matters.
game.
And they did. They did win that game. And that's all that matters. So moving on. Uh, Jose Barrio is
Barrios, uh,
listed as their three starter on Fangraphs.
which is not
Um,
true.
yeah, I don't know why, but we'll talk about him third.
He got
He,
demoted to the bullpen at the end of last season, and he wasn't even
yeah,
on the
he did.
playoff roster.
Yeah, but Shane Bieber is going to start the year injured, so I think he will
Oh, I
probably
didn't know
start.
that.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's got a. I have it written down.
He's got a
I'm
something.
blanking. Yeah, he's got a something.
But you have it down here that he
Um,
looks better in spring training, which is interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a small sample size, but he's getting a lot more whiffs and a lot more chases, and the contact rates, or the contact on the pitches looks a lot better. It's Barrios was not good last year. Like he pitched a lot of innings, but was not effective for a lot of them, and he looks better in spring training uh, because of what appears to be a mechanical change. His horizontal release on the fastball and his horizontal approach angle, in just as an example, in 2025, so his release was negative 1.5 feet away from the mound, and his horizontal approach angle was 0.9. So he was attacking from higher. Basically, it wasn't as steep, and or I'm sorry, from lower. So it wasn't as steep of an attack angle, and so now his horizontal release is minus 2.3 feet, and his attack angle has been 2.2. So that's about a foot change and a big significant change in where he's releasing the ball from, and that has changed across all his pitches. His horizontal attack angle and release points. He's generating more whiffs and chases. It's having varying results across kind of all of his different pitches. Some of them it's increasing the chases but bringing down the whiffs, and some it's bringing up the xwOBA, and some it's bringing it down, and it's kind
It's
of
all
a
like small sample stuff, but
it's a
he
give and
is
take.
like
It's a small sample, exactly.
he is
But
trying new stuff.
yes,
Is the
and that's
point?
what's important, and it'll be interesting to see how that translates into the regular season, because he is probably going to have to make starts for the Blue Jays team, and as was shown last year by a very, very, very tight Yankees and Blue Jays race, every game is important, including the ones in April. So,
Yeah, it's looking like I didn't know Bieber was injured.
mm-hmm.
So with him injured, he is going to be starting the year in the rotation, I think. Maybe he won't. Like the rotation could be Cease, Gosman, Yasavage, Scherzer, and Cody Ponce to start the year, and Barrios could start in the bullpen, but
Yeah,
it's kind of unclear what Max Scherzer's role is going to be. We'll get to him soon. But Barrios, either way, whether it's in the bullpen or in the starting rotation, will probably have some role to play for the Blue Jays this year, but he's not the guy you're worried about.
Yeah.
Ponce, on the other hand, I think is a very interesting pick. I'm not too worried about him, but we'll talk in detail about him now. He's coming over from Korea. He literally won the Korean League MVP. He had a 1.8 ERA in 200 innings. He set the single season strikeout record. He had an 18 strikeout game. He had a 30% strikeout minus walk rate. Long story short, he was probably like one of the best pitchers in Korean history. And that's pretty good. Like that's what you want to see. And I am not really buying it. Like I don't think that him being the best pitcher in Korean history means he's going to be a great MLB starter. Like if you go look at the top pitchers in Korean history, some of them are really funny names. Like there's a lot of guys on there that are just failed MLB starters that were never productive in the major leagues. The KBO is a good league. Like I'm not going to talk like a ton of smack about them. Like they're good. But Jung-Hoo Lee was like if Jung-Hoo Lee was hitting like Aaron Judge in the KBO and he struggled to be even like above like an
Average.
110 OPS plus bat in the major leagues. Eric Fetty is probably the most recent comp coming back from Korea after failing in the major leagues. And respect to Eric Fetty, like he did have one good year coming back where he was effective, but Eric Fetty is now out of the league, I believe, like
Mm-hmm.
2 years later. Like this is a risk. It's his stuff did tangibly improve going from the U.S. to Korea. Like he added 2 miles per hour to his fastball. He has way more pitches now. I think he throws 6 different pitches. In interviews, he's talked specifically about his pitch ability and how he's trying to make his arsenal complement each other well. But the MLB ball does make stuff play worse because it's just different. And I would be pretty surprised if Cody Ponce is like below a 3.5. Like that would be deeply shocking to me if he was like a very good starter.
So you'd have. Never mind. So who's your prediction for a lower ERA, Cody Ponce or Kevin Gausman?
Gosman.
Because you said Gausman would have a 4.
Yeah, I'd think Cody Ponce would be like a 4.5.
So you don't think this is going to be a good rotation?
I think that Trey Savage and Dylan Cease will be a good top two.
Yeah. I think
But
I agree. I think they're going to be a very elite top 2, but
rest of them,
we'll see. And kind of moving into Scherzer, like Scherzer was also not good last year.
yeah.
Like
Well, he's
expected
like he's so
or
old.
real, but he's old. Okay, I thought he was like 38. He's 41,
Oh, dude. He's ancient.
and he's going to be making starts. Like he's in the rotation, and I don't know why.
Is it clear that he's actually going to be in the rotation? Because like I feel like he's kind of in like a no man's land situation right now.
Who? I've seen Eric Lauer making starts in spring training, but he's been
He's
good.
not going to be in the rotation.
Like,
He's a depth piece.
yeah.
We'll
So,
get to him in the bullpen section.
like, is a prospect going to come up? Like, who are any Blue Jays pitchers knocking on the door?
Nah. I looked at their top prospects. It's really just Savage. They have like Ricky Tiedemann, but he's been
So then
like
who?
stuck in minors hell for like.
It's gonna be
years
Berrio, or it's gonna be Berrios, or it's gonna be Scherzer.
I
Until
would
they
probably
trade
say
for
it's going to
someone.
be Scherzer.
Yeah.
Neither of them
That's-
are very good.
No.
To be
I think
clear,
it's just a question of
before
which one of them
before we
is
fully
not.
move on, I want to say I looked up Eric Fetty's like stats because he was my comp. His pitching run value, which is not based on expected numbers, was very good in 2024. He was 90th percentile, but none of his expected numbers back that up. And immediately in 2025 he became one of the worst pitchers in baseball. He had an expected ERA of 5.4 and a real ERA of 5.4. So Cody Ponce being a great major league starter would shock me.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, the Ponce deal's 3 years, $30 million. It's a drop in the bucket, but
Yeah.
it is a risk.
But they want him to be a good pitcher. Like I don't
Yeah.
think they're bringing him in as a depth piece. Like
Mhm.
he's going to be starting for
Yeah.
the team going into the year.
So, do you want to talk about Trey Savage?
Yeah, I think like it's kind of the opposite of Ernie Clement. Like people are looking at his playoff run, and instead of being like with Ernie Clement, like, oh, he's dog shit, like they're being like, oh my god, this is the best pitcher ever. And as someone who glazes Cam Schlittler like on the daily for his one playoff start against the Red Sox, I get it. But I think he's gonna be like, I think he'll be very good. Like thrown a lot of shade at Kevin Gausman, Cody Ponce, Jose Barrios, like all these other guys saying that they're gonna be bad. But I think Savage will be a very effective major league pitcher. His weird release angle, like I don't know if you didn't watch the playoff start, like you could see, he just basically throws the ball from like directly over his head, and he throws a splitter. So it's just really weird. I don't think there's anybody else in the major leagues who throws like he does. And being weird is pretty much the number one thing you can do as a major league pitcher. Like if you don't look like anybody else when you're throwing, people don't know what to expect, especially people that haven't seen you before. But because of that, I think him not being seen really inflated his numbers to, especially in the playoff run. Like the Yankees are famously awful at pitchers they haven't seen
Yeah.
before. Like go back 5 years and this has been happening. Like the Yankees can't hit somebody they haven't faced before. And I think Savage has some numbers that are concerning. Like his walk rate was atrocious. He was walking 11% of hitters in the regular season last year. But his strikeout numbers are obviously elite. Like same as Gausman except better. Like his fastball splitter combo is basically just an upgraded version of Kevin Gausman, and Kevin Gausman was obviously very effective last year with that combo. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as people see him more than once. I think he'll get worse. Like I don't think he'll be like a 2 ERA guy, but I would probably predict him to be in the low threes, and that's a really excellent number two starter. And obviously he does have a lot of upside, like Cam Schlittler does, like
Yeah.
these other young electric arms do.
Yeah, and obviously he's so young. There's so much room to improve, and he clearly has the pedigree. I mean, he was so, and obviously can't take it as gospel, but the playoff run was just so good, and it proves more than anything that he can already perform in that kind of environment.
Yeah,
That's not going to be an issue for him, and because you saw how loud Rogers Center got last year. I mean, I was
beautiful
really
place.
shocked by
I hate that place, bro.
how loud they got. But so yeah, I think Trey Savage is definitely going to be the second best pitcher in this rotation. I think low threes is a very accurate projection for him. Like you said, just especially in today's day when everybody throws hard and everybody has a splitter and everybody has a deep pitch mix. Like you got to find new ways to reinvent yourself, and having a weird windup or a weird release is the best way to do that. And
Something to note with him though is that he might be innings limited. Like he was only drafted very recently, and he's never thrown anywhere close to a full major league workload at any point in his whole life. So I don't know if they might do a six-man rotation here. Like as we're kind of seeing, they have so many starters,
yeah,
especially when Shane Bieber comes back. And unless like Barrios or Scherzer or Ponce look unpitchable, it would kind of make sense for them to go six-man. They could also just move one of these guys to the bullpen later, or like I feel like Savage is too valuable to be thrown as a starter at the beginning of the year and then move to the bullpen for the playoffs.
yeah,
Like clearly he was so good as a starter in the playoffs that that'd be just such a waste of his talent. So I don't know. I think that Savage is going to be the pretty clear-cut two. I know Blue Jays fans might disagree. They really love Kevin Gausman, but trying to be like a voice of reason here, Kevin Gausman's really old. Trey Savage is really young. They're basically they have the same arsenal. Savage is just the upgrade here.
yeah. I agree wholeheartedly. I think the ex Woba on Kevin Gausman's fastball last year is really worrying. Like it wasn't good at all. And if Trey Savage can be average with have an average fastball contact, like that's better already. And like you said, I think it's going to be very easy for the league to kind of adjust to Kevin Gausman's fastball splitter combo now that they know what to expect, and especially with Kevin Gausman really not being able to throw his splitter in the zone at all, like a 30% zone percentage is really nothing special. And so, yeah, I think there's no reason to expect why Trey Savage shouldn't be the number 2 in this rotation. But unless you have anything to add, I think we can move on to the
I actually
final.
do have something to
Oh,
add. Jose
final?
Barrios has elbow inflammation.
Really?
Yeah, that's not ideal.
Yeah, no, that's not.
As of this is like very recent news. Like we didn't know this when we were doing the research for this.
Oh,
I'm doing the reading now. Yeah, that's maybe it's good for the Blue Jays rotation if he's out for the year. Honestly.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know who's gonna pitch.
Got Max Scherzer, baby.
Yeah, Mad Max.
Speaking of, he's very old. He had a bad ERA in 2025,
Yeah, we talked about him.
and he
We're
didn't
good.
throw a lot of innings. We didn't like really get into it, but there's not
That's
much to
pretty
say. I
much
think
it.
let's just focus on Shane Bieber here.
Yeah, Shane Bieber.
I found out the Barrios stuff trying to find out what Shane Bieber's injury status was. But it looks like he's
I think
good.
he's gonna mix Shane Bieber.
Like not like he's healthy, but it looks like he will be healthy for most of the season.
Yeah, I saw he's gonna miss like the first month or so.
It seems
which
like
is not great, but
he's
again.
just starting now to ramp up, or at least he's on schedule to ramp up. So
Okay, but here's
he'll
the
be
thing
he'll be important.
about Shane Bieber. Even if he does ramp back up and he's fine and he makes it back by April or whatever, like he hasn't made 20 starts since 2023. He hasn't made 30 starts since 2022. He's effective enough when he is healthy. He's always relied more on the swing and miss that is kind of going down, and the hard contact is also going up. So injury is definitely taking its toll, and especially with how injured he has been, like I just don't know how many starts you can really pencil him in for, and frankly, what he's gonna look like in those starts. Like, I think, it's unreasonable to expect him to be bad, but I think it's also unreasonable to say that that's not possible at all.
Yeah, I mean his expected numbers last year actually did not shape up as well as I thought they did.
Yeah.
Didn't he give up the home run that lost in the World Series too?
No.
Yeah, I think I'm
No.
like
Oh yeah,
I'm,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he
Because
did.
Hoffman gave up the
Hoffman gave up the tying run,
tying
but
the tying
Beaver
run,
gave
yeah.
up it was like
the
Will Smith, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So that's just a funny tidbit. But
Yeah.
his velo's not good anymore. Like he was throwing like 92 average, and that's opposed to him throwing. Actually, never mind. He was
Yeah,
always throwing like kind of 92.
he's never really been because I thought the same thing, but he's never really been a high velo
For some reason,
guy.
I kind of thought he was a higher velo guy back in the day.
But he's really not getting as much swing and miss as he used to.
No, he's
And
not. His striker rate was not like awful, but it was more middle of the pack. His command was still good. He had an extremely low walk rate in his limited sample last year. He was decent in the playoffs. Besides, like obviously he gave up that home run, but other than that, like he was relatively effective. He gets a decent amount of ground balls, but he's not going to be a Cy Young guy. Like he's never going to be a top 10 pitcher in baseball or anything close to that ever again.
Mm-hmm.
He really did want to be with the Blue Jays. Like he claimed that he was getting more like higher AAV, more years from other teams, but he just liked being in Toronto. So maybe like they've talked to him and like they say they have a plan to like unlock his abilities more. But I don't know. I think he'll be good when he comes back. Like I don't think he's gonna be great. I think he'll be good. He will probably be their 4 starter, and I think Shane Bieber, as he was last year, as a 4 starter, is totally fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's more than an effective enough back end starter. But I think that's kind of all there is on Shane Bieber. Shall we move on to the last piece of the puzzle here with the bullpen?
Yeah, I think that the bullpen is probably the most clear-cut weakness. Like their rotation has problems, but they have a lot of upside in a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
guys. Like if the Blue Jays rotation ended up being like a top 5 rotation in baseball next year, I would be shocked, but I wouldn't be like deeply, deeply surprised.
It wouldn't come out of nowhere,
No, it wouldn't come out of nowhere. But this bullpen has pretty serious problems. They made a good signing with Tyler Rogers, who has been basically the best guy at limiting hard contact maybe in baseball history. Like obviously we don't have advanced numbers for people 30 years ago. Like we don't have Mariano Rivera's like hard hit rate number. But just look at like he's been in the league forever. He never gets hurt. He always throws a ton of innings. He never strikes anybody out, but he never walks anybody either. If you've never seen Tyler Rogers pitch, please go watch videos of him pitching. It's truly hilarious. He's a submariner. He's chucking the ball
Trey
from literally like
Savage.
2 inches off the ground.
Trey Savage to Tyler Rogers is going to be really funny. Like,
Yeah, literally like as high up as you can go to as low down as you can go immediately after each other.
yeah,
But he's not like I don't think he's ever been a real closer. Like he's never been a ninth inning guy, but this is an amazing get for them because they needed somebody that can be a setup guy, get them out of jams when they need it, close if Jeff Hoffman's really bad, which we'll get to next. So they're paying him a lot of money for a reliever. He's there for a couple years. So they're investing a lot in him, but I think for any reliever, like obviously relievers have massive variations year to year. Like you can be the best reliever in baseball one year and then be poop next year, Devin Williams. So I think if you're going to give money to a reliever, which kind of teams don't really do anymore, Tyler Rogers is probably the best bet in terms of getting value for your money, even though he is pretty old.
yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think I wasn't happy when they signed him. So,
Yeah, I'm surprised the Mets didn't keep him.
yeah, bum.
Jeff Hoffman, their closer. When we were writing the notes for this section, Ryan was doing research, and in the first bullet point, I just said "lol" with about 800 O's because Jeff Hoffman is a hilarious, hilarious guy. Blew the World Series for them. Blew a ton of games otherwise for them. What was his ERA last year? Like, yeah, I know ERA is not that important for relievers, but it was really bad, wasn't it?
It was. Ben
It wasn't as
Rice's
bad as I thought. He had like a 4.3.
for a reliever. That's not good.
That's
Like,
not good, but I thought it'd be in like the fives.
yeah. Well, Ben Rice's young son, Jeff Hoffman, uh, is loved by Stuff Plus models. He has plus pitches pretty much all across the board, and the fastball did generate a ton of chases and whiffs. But when contact was made, it got absolutely rocked, dude. A 595 ex Woba. That's ridiculous. And it was kind of the same thing with the slider, not nearly to the same extent. 371 ex Woba with nearly 39% chase and a 47% whiff. I had a bad command on that. But here's the thing. Big if, because and I know I've said that a lot, like, and it's very easy to just be like, oh, limit the damage on your fastball. Come on, man. Like, but if he can do that, Jeff Hoffman will be one of the better closers in the league. And it is spring training, and it's such a small sample size that it's barely even worth bringing up in a spring training discussion. But he is averaging about 2 inches less induced vertical break on his fastball, and the xWOBA is down to 257. So again, for Blue Jays fans at least, it's better than the xWOBA still being 600. Like,
I'm kind of surprised that he doesn't throw his splitter more. Like clearly, like this is their team's pitching identity, but he only throws his splitter 24% of the time. He throws his slider a lot, which is funny enough. That was the pitch that Miguel Rojas tied the World Series on, not his fastball, which got rocked so much. It's really funny to see a guy that has like top of the league chase, whiff, and strikeout numbers with the worst barrel rate I've ever seen in the world. I think that his I don't know, like I think he'll be a little bit better next year, but I really couldn't say just cuz he is getting old.
yeah,
Like he'll be 34 for part of next year, which doesn't really bode well for a velo guy.
mm-hmm.
And he's also there. He's also signed for a while, and they don't really have anybody else coming up that could take that closer position if he really stinks it up again. Like, do they throw
Yeah,
Tyler Rogers back there? Then they don't have a fireman type of guy. So, I don't know. I think they're kind of in trouble. They really need Jeff Hoffman to be good.
yeah, and they kind of need Louis Varland to be good, but I don't think he's going to be very good at all. I was listening to one analyst, I forget who it was during the World Series, but they were saying like when you throw everything that hard with such little movement, everything looks like a slow fastball. Like, and that's why like I was gonna say that's why Judge took him deep, but it's not because that was a great pitch, and Judge just made an insane swing because he's the GOAT. And
Go.
yeah, I don't know. I think Varland obviously like I think it's just gonna be a lot of high variance. I think there's gonna be some days he comes out there pumping gas, blowing it by people, and I think there's just gonna be some days hitters are gonna have an eye on it, and he's gonna give up. I think he's gonna give up a lot of hard contact, but I think he's gonna kind of be like Jeff Hoffman, another hard contact, throw gas, high whiff.
I'm a little surprised that I haven't heard anything about them trying to make him a starter, just because that's what he was with the Twins. Like they converted him to a bullpen guy. Not to say he was good as a starter with the Twins. So maybe they just got him and are like, yeah, you're not capable of being a starter. Just be a bullpen guy, throw 100 miles per hour. So I think that he'll be good. Do they have any lefties in the pen besides besides Eric Lauer?
Uh, no.
Is Fluharty a lefty?
Brendan Little is.
Oh, Brendan Little's a lefty. Oh yeah, and Fluharty's lefty. So they do have two lefties in the bullpen. We'll get to them in a little bit. I just want to make sure that Lauer wasn't their number one lefty guy, because wow, that would be bad. We can mention Lauer briefly. Like he made a lot of starts for the Blue Jays last year, but he's not good. He acts as like a serviceable long reliever and kind of a starter depth piece. Like obviously they have enough starter depth that hopefully Eric Lauer will not be making starts for them next year. But you never know. Maybe it will happen. They also have the other two lefties in their pen, Brendan Little and Mason Fluharty. They're kind of the same pitcher in a way. They both have elite whiff and strikeout numbers, but walk a ton of people. Brendan Little, his stuff is better. He gets more whiffs, but he's been walking 15% of batters, which is just untenable. Like, he needs to get that down. And Fluharty, the stuff is a little bit worse, and he only walks 10% of batters. Yimi Garcia, who the Yankees know very well, Judge has taken him deep more times than I could count, has had some juice at some points in his career, but he's really struggled to stay healthy, and he wasn't good when he was healthy last year. So overall, I think their main problem is just going to be the closer position. I think there's a lot of guys in this pen with some juice. Like clearly, if you have a bunch of guys with a lot of great strikeout numbers, which is exactly what you want out of a bullpen. But they walk a lot of guys, they give up a lot of hard contact, so it could get really bad if these guys don't get these walk numbers down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just a dangerous combination because anything can happen when you give up hard contact, and especially if there's men on base already. It's just that's something that the Yankees are very familiar with, to be entirely frank, and something that Yankees fans have experienced more times than any of us can probably count. So, yeah, if I'm the Blue Jays, I'm definitely focused on making sure Jeff Hoffman is effective as possible, because it's a lot of the season is probably riding on that. But I think that more or less wraps up the Blue Jays roster, unless you had any more final thoughts until we get to our final question.
I have one final thing to say about just the Blue Jays pitching philosophy in general, or at least what I assume is kind of what they're building here. They have a lot of guys, both in the bullpen and in the rotation, that throw a lot of walks and get a lot of strikeouts. And we saw with, I mentioned Blake Snell already on the show, but you can have successful pitching where you walk everybody on base and then you strike everybody out to get out of it. I think it'll lead to some pretty high variance outings. Like, there'll be days where just nobody has it and they can't get those strikeouts and they'll just melt down at some point. Like, you'll have Savage walk, like maybe he'll be at like 9 strikeouts through 5.5 innings, but there'll be like 2 people on. Mason Fluharty will come in and he'll walk 2 guys and walk in a run, or he'll strike out the next 3 batters and they'll get out of it. So. Right. I think either way it's going to be a little bit frustrating for Blue Jays fans to watch, and frustrating as a Yankees fan to watch us strike out 3 times with men on base. But it's going to be interesting to see how this rotation lines up. I think that they're relatively high variance, but not nearly as much as people like the Orioles, like we talked
Yeah,
about last week.
definitely.
So let's give a prediction here. So give me a record prediction for the Blue Jays this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 95-67, which is one more win than last year. One more win than last year, and I was originally gonna go with the same record as last year. I feel like a lot of the moves that they made in the off season and departures and taking on new people are kind of going to be evened out by positive and negative regressions by people currently on the roster. But I feel like the lineup does have enough juice, and I'm not going to sit here and predict the rotation to just completely fall apart. So I think the rotation is going to be good enough to keep them in enough games to. And I think I am maybe a little higher on the bullpen than you are. Like, I think Rogers and Hoffman is a really good back end. And they do have enough guys with enough upside to put together what could be a really good pen. But yeah, so I'm gonna go 95-67. I think there's too much talent on this roster to not be at least fighting for the top spot in the AL East. So
I'm going to add one more thing. So that's the overall record prediction for the Blue Jays. What's your prediction for the Yankees record against them in the 14 games they'll play?
I'm gonna go like is it 15 or 13?
It's 14. It's neither of those.
It's 14.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I mean
it's 14.
yeah,
Yeah.
seven
No,
away,
yeah.
7 at home.
Yeah. Uh, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 8-7 Yankees.
Okay, Ryan, that adds up to 15.
I'm so stupid. I'm gonna go 8-6
There you go.
Yankees.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
a
don't
math
know.
pod.
Not a math pod at all. I don't know. I'm obviously really high on the Yankees this year. I think the Yankees are going to beat them for the division. And I just don't think what happened last year is going to happen again. Like, I think a lot of our Blue Jays losses last year just came from situations that are only happening once, or, they're not going to happen as often, with bad defense and Devin Williams and, whatever. And so I'm going to go 8-6 Yankees.
Yeah, I think for the overall record, I'm going with 97-65. I think that they'll be about as good as they were last year. I think when you look at like the WAR projections, like they basically lost as much as they gained.
Mm-hmm.
I think their young guys have juice, but their older guys are going to be a little bit worse. And in terms of the Yankees' record against them, I think we were kind of unsustainably awful against the division last year.
Yeah.
So
The last
I don't
couple
know.
years.
Last couple years, like I would probably agree with you though, 8-6, and I think the Yankees will beat them for the division.
Yeah.
I think without Devin Williams blowing half of their games, they will be better and they'll win the division. So,
But
got anything else to add before we tap out here?
we'll talk more about the Yankees in an upcoming episode. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a pretty big Wednesday night event upcoming with the Giants of San Francisco, and we are looking forward to that. And we will probably do. Just looking ahead, we're probably going to do the Red Sox episode next week. We're going to cover our blood rivals, and then the week after that is opening day, so we'll probably do just a final once-over of the roster and make sure everything is, passes our inspection, which is, of course, the most important. And, yeah, I think that's everything I had on the Blue Jays, and unless you had anything else.
No, Blue Jays fans, if you're watching, we don't like you, but we respect you. So please leave a comment telling us why we're wrong and why you hate us. If you're a real fan and like real teams like the Yankees, please like, comment, and subscribe. We're here every week. Go give us a follow on Twitter, Spotify, wherever you're listening this to. And we'll be back next week with our even more hated rivals, the Red Sox.
Yep, long episode this week, so thanks for sticking with us, but we hope you enjoyed it, and we will be back next week.
See you later.
See you later.